Last time we have talked on basically what was the effect of the having dollar as the global currency on the world economic system as accepted global currency, basically. And we have told what it also has specific effects on the USA and what we did not talk on the specific effects uh, having dollar as global currency has on other countries. Yet we have talked a little bit on the integration, which is mainly having a common currency is preventing, uh, these complex relations each country will have with all different countries with different currencies, which might fluctuate and might have different values. By the way, when we in case of United States, we have told that when we have United States, the main thing was, first, United States doesn't need to worry with the fluctuation of the value of dollar as long as it is uh, as long as dollar maintains its value as the global currency. So as long as dollar is the global currency, United States might get some policies which might basically increase the value of dollar or decrease the value of dollar. So uh, considering its national interests, it might apply certain policies which will fluctuate the value of dollar. Uh, However, because dollar is used globally, other countries may have some effect in the it may have some effect on the value of dollar. Um, Although, as far as I know, consciously there is no attempt of any country to change the value of dollar in world history up to now. They didn't. Sometimes countries themselves apply certain policies to change the value of their national currencies, but up to now, there was no uh, conscious effort, I at least know, of a country which was aiming to change the value of dollar. Um, there was this end of the Bretton Woods thing, where France has brought dollars to the US central bank, but that was basically aiming collapse of the Bretton Woods system, not basically changing the value of the dollar. Also, United States, in order to maintain the global currency status, and that's the main challenge for the United States, it might not want to decrease the value of dollar too much. If the dollar's value is continuously decreasing, in that case, or fluctuating wildly, in that case, other currencies may take dollar as the global currency. Um, so, what about other countries? What is the specific effect of having a currency of a different country as your global currency, um, as a global currency? Well, first, management of this global currency is out of your hand. So you can actually manage your currency. And as we have told before, for example, like China does, you might basically try to decrease you might basically decrease the value of your currency even, um, since it's not global currency. That currency is just traded within your nation and it doesn't have any competitors there. Why would you might want to do that? Because when the value of your currency is to some extent below its value, it might be possible the cost of production in your country will go down in terms of global currency, dollars, because the, the costs are paid in your own national currency, and the value of national currency is low. So, which means, same dollar can buy more yuan if your currency is yuan, and basically you can do that by creating an excess supply in the market. How you can create excess supply? By, as a state, you can just print money. Um, However, as a foreign country, you might also not want the value of your, the ratio of your currency's value and the global currency dollar to change too much, because having that could also be a benefit of having a single global currency and many national currencies. Because if you had multiple currencies, in that case, the people might just give up keeping the value of their own currency stable with respect to multiple different currencies throughout the world. But since you have a single global currency, the particular countries which could relatively stabilize the value of their currency with respect to global currency, stabilize the exchange rate relatively, the investments or economic interactions will be easier for foreign actors, because they know how much they will get or how much they will pay. The risk of having to pay more dollars or receive less dollars is smaller in those countries, because the value of, for example, Turkish lira with respect to dollar change less in that case. But that means, now when you are setting monetary policies, you need to take into account the value of your currency with respect to foreign currency. And monetary policies could also, when you are basically trying to determine the value of your currency, buying power of your currency, it could well be possible also the government could create some inflationary policies which will decrease the value of your currency, but it might also stimulate the economy, your national economy. Now, that possibility might be not that much available now, unless, when the value of your currency gets low, in that case, investments in your country will be less valuable, because if they invest, the return they got will be in Turkish lira probably, and that return will have less value. So capital, the money capital in your country may try to escape from your country. But if you have capital restrictions, if that escape is not that much available, in that case, if that escape is, if the movement of monetary capital from your country to another country is at least partially restricted, even when you have inflation in your country, it might be possible to maybe maintain a relatively stable exchange rate. Relatively stable exchange rate, not perfectly stable exchange rate. It might be possible. And China is a country where you have also these capital restrictions. I might have told you, even to get 3,000 lira out of the bank, you need to get a special permission. 3,000 euro out of the bank, you need to get special permission in China, which was my experience there. So let's continue. Well, there are different challenges to dollar. One of them, the actual real challenge, is euro, which is something different from the dollar. Dollar is a currency which is basically created by a single country, while euro is rather a currency that is created by multiple countries in a region. And the management of euro is by itself something different than the management of dollar. In case of dollar, basically the interest of United States is taken into place, while in case of euro, at least the European Central Bank need to take into account interest of whole European countries, where sometimes it is accused that certain countries with relatively more power are their interest is taken as priority, and those discussions are healthy even if those effects are minimum or not. So it's something you might look at. Whether this aim of taking interest of whole Europe is actually taken into account by the European Central Bank. However, at least it's a step from having national currency systems to a regional currency system. And as a regional currency, it also has well, as you can see here, all the way to 2017, it to some extent challenges dollar. Dollar is still clear. I mean, these are the reserves the countries are holding in different, all countries of the world are holding. Certainly, most of them are in dollar. More than $5 trillion reserves, almost $6 trillion reserves are held in dollar. However, around 1.5 trillion reserves are held in euro. And euro started to challenge dollar, but after 2010s, I mean, that challenge, basically, dollar has grown relatively more strong. I mean, dollar reserves have increased while euro reserves remain the same. And some alternative monetary reserves have actually increased, although those are multiple different currencies, so not one currency. But we might see that if dollar for a reason gets weak, especially very weak, euro is in a position to replace dollar. So what does it mean to have a regional currency as a global currency? It can be something we can discuss. And that question might also lead us whether it is possible to have a global currency, a kind of global central bank, which is actually governing the whole global monetary system. Is it possible? And is it possible that somehow this type of monetary policy is shaped by interests of the whole world? Well, in that case, Europe is an interesting case to look at. Of course, in the whole world, we have much more maybe diverse countries than the level of diversity we have in Europe. But Europe is also a pretty diverse place, and actually, analysis of Europe might help us to understand, see the possibility or challenges we might face when we have an international global currency. Well, both in case of euro and international currency, I mean, these need some greater level organizations and political organizations built by the corporations of countries, basically, in one case in Europe, in the other case in the whole world. Cryptocurrency is actually was kind of suggested as an alternative to these currencies. The currency systems, I mean, are controlled either by states or organizations built by states in case of euro, EU in this case. While cryptocurrencies are untangible currencies, so there is no solid currency basically. They are just inside of the computer system, and they are built by private organizations. So basically, the currency system is regulated by private organizations, and those organizations are actually in place of maintaining value of the cryptocurrencies and also distribution and exchange of the cryptocurrencies from one person to another person is also governed by them. They have been an interesting discussion, and the main discussion is, of course, I mean, inside of the internet, you might hold the information, and it might even possible to make exchange with this with this non-seen money in, let's say, marketplaces. I mean, in any place where you buy something. These might be possible, and technically it might be possible. But when you look at an economic sense, the main question might be, when you have a private organization, how effective can private organization be in maintaining the value of this currency, especially when it is used in mass quantities, basically, because private corporations usually are shaped by private interests and profits, basically. So, can this profit motive not existing here, or can we have a profit motive working to create a stable currency, stable enough to encourage people to exchange their, let's say, make their exchange process with cryptocurrencies, not only small but large amounts, for example, paying a whole money of whole house with the cryptocurrencies, for example.